Good evening, Pats fan, and welcome back to another edition here of the NE Patriots Talk channel. And today we're going to be discussing what the Patriots should be doing post June 1st through free agency and through trades, and then potentially cutting some Patriots candidates that we don't need for the roster. But how are we doing today, Andy?
We're doing well, Dow. How about you, bud?
Oh, can't complain. Sorry, everybody, that if I delayed the show a little bit just because I couldn't find another pair of headphones, but this is like the old classic me without the headphones, so I think we should be fine for the show. But today, as I mentioned before we start the show, please make sure that you're subscribe to this channel. It's completely free, helps support the channel. And throughout the show, please put in your questions and comments about throughout the show, what are your thoughts on the free agency and what the Patriots should be doing. And if that's not enough, you can call into the show with a pinned comment in the chat. But let's get this started, Andy. So now that it's post June 1st and that the trade, how do I say this, that the cap space has changed a lot for all these teams. So there's so many free agents available that the Patriots could potentially need to help boost up the roster, and there's potentially some players that we can cut as well. But let's start with the players that are currently available through free agency, and then we can go from there. But what do you think the biggest need for the Patriots is for now?
The biggest need, I think, is still on the offensive line. Obviously, we hope we hit with Will Campbell at left tackle and Jared Wilson at center. I believe with with Jack Connolly out of BC, we hit right guard, I believe.
Yes.
All right. So left guard is still a glaring need on this team. I also think potentially tight end, because Austin Hooper and Hunter Henry are getting on the older side of things. Who knows what's going to happen with Jaheim Bell, CJ Dupre, Jack Westover. We don't know what's going to happen there yet. We're going to try to get younger at tight end there. But I think our most pressing need currently is left guard. If you could pull the current FA list up.
So right now I have the list of running back, but since we're focusing on I think it's mainly the interior offensive line, but we can also include the offensive tackles as well, just in case we need depth, and because I don't trust number 59 because he's like one of the more hated Patriots within the fan base. So.
Him.
So that's why we have
whose name shall not be mentioned. Oh, and right tackle too. Morgan Moses is. I was talking about this with a coworker earlier. He was pretty much brought in to mentor Will Campbell, even though Campbell's a left tackle, Moses is a right tackle. Tackle can mentor tackle. I mean, we've talked about it's easier to switch from, I believe, right to left than from left to right. But sooner rather than later, we'll need a right tackle, as well as a left guard.
So here we have a list of some of the offensive tackles right now. So we're going to start with the offensive tackles, and then we're slowly going to get to the needs that potentially be added for depth, just in case if one of the players gets injured, which I don't want to wish upon any injury on anybody. But looking at all these offensive tackles, Andy, which do you think the Patriots should go after, considering that these are just bodies at this point?
Well, they are. I would consider, to be honest, I'm not familiar with many of these guys. Obviously not Isaiah Wynn. He was here before.
He's injury prone.
He's very injury prone. Take Justin Haran. I could actually might be interested in bringing back. You could also take a look at I've heard talk about Jedrick Wills. Take a look at DJ Humphries as well. Actually, let me pull them up.
Yeah, because I know that we were last season we were thinking of getting Humphrey because we need some depth at left tackle, but when he joined with the Chiefs for a 1-year deal, he didn't perform up to where he was in Arizona. So, but
DJ Humphries spent 2024 with Kansas City. His overall grade was only a 44.8. His run blocking grade was a 66. That's decent. His pass blocking grade was no prize either, 30.5. He is 31, so getting toward the range of old for a tackle. Again, we're talking like we did with Moses here. Probably a guy who would be brought in, to mentor a rookie, potentially for next season. If I were to look at George Fant, who is 32.
George Fant, he did play for the Seattle Seahawks, and he
Correct.
was a he.
His overall grade was a 61.3 with a pass block of 44.7, a run block of 68.2. He played a total of 30 offensive snaps. Not the most reliable guy. Again, it seems like a lot of these are not young guys we're looking here. Garon Christian.
We can look
20 is 28. He's on the younger side of things. He didn't play in 2024. He played 637 snaps in 2023. But his overall grade was only 43.2. So, yeah, most of these guys, you're probably talking, you're not bringing them in for a long-term solution. You'd be bringing them in potentially to mentor the rookie you might pick. You probably, hopefully, will pick for that position in the 2026 NFL draft.
How about this guy that Jonathan came up with? He said that I wouldn't mind Jackson Carman. He said he's 25 years old and he did play for the Miami Dolphins. So can you check his
25? Oh, that's still young. So
Jackson Carman.
Jackson Carman, Carman. Here we
So he
go.
played for the Dolphins last season, and before that, he played for the Cincinnati Bengals. But I think he was already re-signed to the Miami.
His overall grade, he had a 56.3 in 2021, a 60.7 in 2022, little tick up. 56.6 in 2023, dropped all the way to 42.2 in 2024. His run blocking grade was a 47.5. His pass blocking grade was a 43. I mean, as you know, we've all kind of been crap talking the Dolphins here in the corners of Pat's Nation.
Yep.
We've got an O-line coach and former Jacksonville head coach. Help me out.
Doug Marrone.
Doug Marrone, thank you. And obviously, we have one Mike Vrabel and the other Josh McDaniels. We're not talking Mike McDaniel, and I don't know who the offensive line coach here. Let me look it up.
But what I do know is they did lost Terrion Armstead.
Correct.
I think they have no, not Tavon Austin. Who is this? I forgot the name of the right tackle for the Dolphins, but so right, I think it's Austin Jackson. Never mind.
Okay.
But
the Miami Dolphins offensive line coach is Butch Barry, who joined in 2023.
Interesting. So, what about Jedrick Wills, former first round pick?
Yeah, Jedrick Wills could definitely be interesting. Again, I think he's on the older side of things.
He's only like 26 years
He's
old.
26. Oh, he's again younger than I thought. Last year, he threw down a 53 overall grade, a 63.6 pass block. That's actually pretty decent. His run block was only 51.6. He played 245 total snaps. Um, these are mostly middle of the road guys we're looking at. 2022, he threw down a 62.9 overall, a 69.6 pass block, which is pretty good. He's definitely interesting. 66.1 overall in 2021. His rookie year, he threw down a 79.4 pass blocking grade as a rookie. So Jedrick Wills is definitely a guy to look at there. He
The
is a
only problem
guy
with Jedrick
Doug
Wills, wait, go ahead.
he is a guy whom Doug Marrone and Josh McDaniels might be able to get back to his rookie or sophomore campaign form.
The only problem with Jedrick Wills is his injury history.
Okay.
Because if I'm not mistaken, it was reported that he might sit out for the majority of this upcoming season due to ongoing knee issues, and he undergone arthroscopic surgery for a torn MCL in his right knee. So basically, this guy, he's injury prone.
Yeah, this says on Reddit sources, doesn't say who they are. Free agent offensive tackle Jedrick Wills, who dealt with a lingering knee injury last season, is planning to sit out most, if not all, of the upcoming season to fully recover. There's the red flag with him. So, a waiting game, like so many things this offseason and upcoming season.
So we could possibly get him, but be concerned about we have to be careful about the injuries, because we could also look. I know that DJ Humphrey, did we look at DJ Humphrey's like PFF grade yet, or we didn't?
Thought I did. I was sure I did. I don't remember what it was. Let me pull it up again.
Because we can use some left tackle depth behind
DJ
Brian
Humphrey.
Thompson.
Yeah, his grade was a 44.8 overall, 30.5 pass block, 66.1 run block, decent run blocker, 30.5 pass block. Now his rookie year, way back in 2015, he's an older fella here. He really not registering anything there. Is pretty much redshirted. This is, for all intents and purposes, his rookie year in 2016, and here are the numbers: 68.3 overall, 61.8 pass block, 75.6 run block, and that was with the Niners. Let me just look. Oh boy, here we go. This was 2016. Hold on. He's now with the Chiefs. And in 2016, that was funny. Said he was drafted by that. He was with the Arizona Cardinals. So
Yeah, it was with the Arizona Cardinals.
I think you were going to say or mentioned before. So, yeah, he did have a decent, for all intents and purposes, rookie season there. But isn't on the older side of things now. I think he might be 32. So, yeah, I mean, like I said at the top here, Dow, a lot of these guys are they're gonna be, unless it's, who did John mention again?
Jackson Carman or
Jackson Carman. Yeah, aside from that handful of young guys, they're mostly going to be a veteran presence on this offensive line or on the team.
Even though Carman has re-signed to the Dolphins, I don't know what the contract was, but it was reported he did re-sign with the Dolphins, unless I'm mistaken. But another position we can all look at is the interior offensive line.
Let me just check that Jackson Carman thing for you. He is still with the Dolphins. He signed a 1-year, $1.7 million contract.
Interesting. But let's see who's currently. So there's a lot of free agent. There was a lot of offensive linemen that has been like signed already, but there's some like leftovers that we could bring back. But when we take a look at the interior offensive line, which of the guys do
Connor
you?
McDermott. We had Connor McDermott before, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. He was okay, but I was
It
like,
was okay. No stud.
yeah, he did play left tackle and
Shane,
right tackle for us, but
Shane Lemieux, Dalton Risner. Look at Dalton Risner. He could be super interesting. Tom Downey on Chat Sports was talking about him the other day.
he played for the Denver Broncos, and then he played for the Vikings.
Of Vikings. I knew him as a Viking. He is 29.
He played left guard.
This was his overall grade last year, a 67.
Okay,
His
not that
run blocking grade was 57.4. He threw down a 76.2 pass blocking grade.
a 72 as a pass blocking grade.
A 76 pass blocking grade.
76. Dude, if we bring him, the only concern with him is his injuries, but if we know how to use him properly, I think we can bring him in because I think it was let go for Donovan because I know they drafted Donovan Jackson to be the left guard for the Minnesota Vikings.
He's still with the Vikings, but if we could poach him.
I don't think he's with the Vikings anymore.
He's not listed as a free agent guard, Dalton Risner. This was a month ago. Said he'll sign soon. Mentions Vikings, Bengals, and Broncos. It seems. Ugh.
He could reunite with Bradbury, but we have to think long term. And if we give him like a 1-year deal,
I'd target him. I would definitely target him.
Yeah. Yeah. What about Shaq Mason? Even though he played for us already, would we bring him back?
Played for us. Dan Feeney, another interesting guy to look at. But if I do Shaq Mason,
wait, was Shaq Mason a right guard or a left guard for the Patriots at one point?
you look at that. Shaq Mason PFF. He was no.
Okay, thank you, John. He said he was. Thank you, John. So
He
with
said
Dan,
what? He said what?
He said that he played right guard for us.
Correct. Yeah, right guard. He's played right guard in every season except his rookie season, which was 2015, and in 2023, where it just lists him as a guard.
Dan Feeney, he's 31 years old. He played for the Chargers, then the Jets, then the Dolphins, then Bears, and then the Vikings.
Mason is 31.
Mm-hmm. Same age as Feeney. Another guy we can look at. Let me look up Daniel Brunskill if I can. He is also 31 years old. He was an undrafted for the Atlanta Falcons, then with the San Diego Fleet, then with the 49ers, and then the Titans.
San Diego Fleet, that a UFL team?
Yeah, let me take a look. I think it's a professional American. What the Alliance of American Football? I think that's what it is.
Oh, AFL. Okay. Or
Yeah.
Alliance of American Football, AAF. I've never heard of them, honestly.
Yeah, there's so many people we can look at, but
I know. Quinn Bailey,
let me scroll down to see
Michael
any
Dunn,
with
Connor
Connor
McGovern.
McGovern.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind pulling up McGovern.
Wait, this one is going to be confusing. We don't know which McGovern it is.
Connor McGovern.
Like, there's two Connor McGoverns. There's one that
There is?
Yeah, there's one center that played for the Cowboys and then went to and is currently with the Buffalo Bills. Then there's another Connor McGovern who played with the Broncos, then the Jets, then the Saints, and then back with the Jets.
Weird.
So there's a Connor McGovern born in 19. So the Connor McGovern, the one who is currently available, I think that's the Missouri one. That's the older one, because I know there's another Connor McGovern who is currently with the Bills. But the other Connor McGovern, he's more of a center for us. So we already have a center in Bradbury, but
Bradbury and Wilson, so that's not much of a need.
yeah. He did play right guard for the Broncos, but then so yeah. He's more of a center for us. So Connor McGovern's off the board for us. And then no to him, no Letica Smith because he was a liability for us. But
look up Brendan Jaimes.
Brandon Jamie. Let me see what Jamie's. He's the center for the Tennessee Titans. He just signed with the Tennessee Titans. So he's off the board.
Yeah, I don't know.
What about Brandon Sheriff?
Oh, Brendan Scherf could be super interesting. Yeah, because I've been hearing a lot about him.
He played for the Redskins. No, with the Redskins, and then played with the Jaguars. But he's
Brandon Scherf he's a veteran. Let me pull him up.
He's 33 years old. He's a former
33. Yeah.
He's a former Pro Bowler. He was a first team All Pro. What was his PFF grade?
In when?
For Brandon Sheriff with the Jaguars.
With the Jaguars. Was what year?
Last year.
His pass block or his overall was 64.7. Pass was 74.5. Run 57.3. He's 33. Inactive currently.
So he's a 74. He only
played 1,013 offensive snaps.
He had 0 sacks. He only had 2 penalties.
Mm-hmm. One hit, 17 total pressures. That's pretty solid.
For a right guard.
50 overall grade was 53rd, so pretty much the upper middle of the pack for guards overall. His pass blocking grade was 19th. He was in the top 20 in guards in terms of pass blocking grade.
Interesting.
Think about that. 33. Well, it was his 32-year-old season we're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's that could be potentially a solid pickup. Wait, what did he play, left or right?
He played right.
He played right, okay.
And we have so much depth at right, but we need depth at left.
We do.
But I think the one position that I think John mentioned besides left guard is, let me find a comment. He said that we also might need an additional pass rusher.
Huh. Interesting. We picked up Braden Swinson. We have Keon White.
We
Let's
have
take a look here.
Landry.
I've heard people float the idea of bringing Matt Judon back.
To a 1-year deal, but Matt Judon,
Yannick Ngakoue, we tried him. That was a
he didn't
bust.
work. What about Zadarius Smith?
He could be interesting.
Like, he had 9 sacks with both
Shaq
Cleveland and
Barrett. We could try Zadarius Smith, Shaq Barrett, Marcus Walker,
what was Judon's PFF
Dwayne
last
Smoot.
season with the Falcons? So
So
he
a few
was
interesting guys on this list here.
he was a 43.0. His pass rush was below average with a 53.9. His run defense
You're talking Smith?
no Judon.
Judon, okay.
6 sacks, 7 assists. But we could bring Judon back, but I don't know. There's so many good pass rushes.
Vrabel, I don't know. Well, we all know Vrabel. How old's Judon again? He's
somewhere like in his 30s.
Early 30s.
He is
32. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Shaquille Barrett, former Tampa Bay Buccaneer.
Correct.
And this guy, he had a 62.1 overall.
Shaq Barrett is also 32.
But the question is, that at one point he retired from the Dolphins, and then he came back. I vaguely
remember that, and he came back as a Buck.
Yeah, so this guy, I don't know, but if we look at those lists, there's so many good. There's Von Miller, but I would think he would return with the Broncos.
Yeah, sadly, you're probably right.
And then there's Jadeveon Clowney, but this guy, he is
so.
He is not.
Jadeveon Clowney. Let me look. 32 again, same age as the other two guys.
Yeah, I wouldn't invest everything on Jadeveon Clowney because he's been really inconsistent during his time with the Ravens. Well, he had a good full season with the Ravens. He didn't do much. He was with the Browns. He was with the Seahawks. I know he was drafted by the Texans. And last year with the Panthers, he didn't do much. But when we look at this, there's nothing I'm really intrigued about. Like, I don't know any of these people. Oh, O'Shane, we bring back O'Shane Zimenez, but this guy was injury. This guy's injured.
Check out DeMarcus Walker.
DeMarcus Walker. He was a Bear, and he had a 64.7 overall grade. His pass rushing was a 61.3, and his run defense was a 62.3. He had 4 sacks, 27 solo tackles, and 16 assists, and 12 hits. And he's about he's 30 years old. But I think he's already with the... Yeah, he's not with the team right now.
Another guy to take a look at, Trevis Gibson.
Trevis Gibson. I'm glad we're doing some research because we want some depth at least. But this guy, he's... No, not to him. He's a 33.1 overall. He had a 53.5 pass rushing. He had a 57.1 run defense grade. He barely had anything. Only 1 hurry and 1 total pressure. He only played
All right.
47 snaps.
Malik Herring.
Malik Herring. This guy, he was with the Chiefs. I don't know what this. He's a 60.2 overall. His pass rushing was a 57.7. His run defense was a 62.1. He didn't have any sacks, but he had 9 solo tackles. He played 193 snaps, 6 hurries and 2 quarterback hits, and so 8 total pressures. So I wouldn't go for him, but but another position let's go back to the tight ends. You said that we should get at least a tight end. There's so many good tight ends right now. There's Hayden Hurst. Gerald Everett is still on the board.
CJ Uzoma, Anthony Ferkser, he's been here before. Mercedes Lewis, I believe he's been here before too. Michael Pruitt, Nick Vanette.
Wait, let me see Gerald Everett's PFF.
Dalton Keene, not even worth mentioning.
No, not to him. Gerald Everett is an unknown. He had only 36 receivers. Wait. Gerald Everett didn't do much for the Bears, but he was like reliable for the
Mercedes Lewis never played with us. He was with Jacksonville, but here's the catch with Mercedes Lewis. Mercedes Lewis is 41. Do you really want to be taking a look at a 41-year-old tight end?
No, but yeah, he only had 2 receiving yards and 0 touchdowns for the Bears. But let's see what about Hayden Hurst? I don't think he's not much of a first round overall.
Hayden Hurst is 31.
He fell off a face of the planet after he was drafted by the Baltimore Ravens.
He did.
And then didn't do much with the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, he didn't really have an applicable grade in 24.
Let's take a look at Jordan Atkins, who played
Hayden Hurst is fallen off the face of the earth.
Yeah, he's not living up to be a first round.
I mean, some of these are guys who could have like a renaissance, if you will, under Vrabel and McDaniels, but that is a story for another time.
Yeah.
Gerald Everett. Take a look at Gerald Everett.
Yeah, there's nothing I could come for Gerald Everett. He didn't have anything. He only had
Nick Vanette.
Nick Vanette. Let's take a look. He's 6'6". Played for the Titans and the Texans. His grade? I don't know. He has 3 touchdowns and 135 receiving yards. He had 0 drops.
So I have go ahead. I have Jordan Akins up right now, who's 33. His overall grade last season was 67.2. His receiving grade was 69.9. 23rd out of 37 ranked tight ends, which is lower middle. Receiving yards, 390. 40 receptions on 54 targets for 2 touchdowns, 390 yards. Lower middle of the pack.
How about Jonathan said, I want Peyton Hendershot. I couldn't find anything with the Chiefs. He played for the Chiefs and then he played for the Cowboys. And he said, I I don't think the Cowboys used him much as they should have because they had Dalton Schultz and Jake Ferguson, so he was always behind them on the depth chart, and he's only.
So this is kind of like the argument in terms of veterans. Let me look how old Hendershot rather is.
26 years
26. So he's not quite a veteran. You're talking about the same argument you can make for CJ Dupre. He wasn't properly utilized at Alabama.
Yeah.
His stats are there, but they're nothing stellar. And you're not finding really anything registered for Hendershot either. So you're talking an experimental guy if you bring him in.
Mm. I think there's one more position we can potentially look at before we head on to the next topic, which is which Patriots candidates should be cut from the team. So let's take a look at I want to look at the wide receiver. I don't think we have so much depth at wide receiver round, so I'm not worried about that. Maybe cornerback. We could look at corner,
potentially corner.
So the biggest names are Asante Samuel and Rasul Douglas.
You see, I am very interested in Asante Samuel. He had bad blood with Belichick, but with Belichick out of the building, I honestly think there's a chance he might work.
Especially with Mike Vrabel being in the building.
Exactly.
Oh, John has
Rasul Douglas is a little old. People have floated bringing back Stephon Gilmore on a 1-year deal.
I don't mind bringing back Stephon Gilmore because maybe to like a 1-year deal, but he wasn't like the same when he played for the Cowboys and the Vikings. Like he was like the former defensive player of the year for the Patriots, but because of how expensive he was, we traded him away to the Panthers, and then so on and so forth with the Colts. So, Jonathan has a question for us. Who is our number 3 cornerback, and is there a guy that is better than our number 3? So our number 3, if I'm not mistaken, it's between Marcus Jones and Alex Austin.
I would probably lean Alex Austin there. Marcus Jones, you're probably going to want to put him more on special teams.
So if I'm looking at some of the cornerbacks, there are some guys I do not want. I do not want Jack Jones because of whatever happened.
Correct.
Caleb Farley, he's injured as hell. Eli Apple, he was a liability for the Giants. CJ Henderson, no.
Why not CJ Henderson?
He did nothing for the Jaguars.
Trey Flowers, ex-Patriot. I usually think of him as a linebacker or a defensive end.
Let's see. Let's take a look at CJ.
Trey Flowers is listed here as a cornerback? That is weird.
I think there's so CJ Henderson did nothing. And this guy, he played for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He was 9th overall, and then he played for the Panthers, then the Texans, and then the Steelers, and he did nothing. Trey Flowers, he played for the cornerback, played for the Seahawks, Bengals, Falcons, Jaguars, and Colts.
Okay. Never heard of him, but okay, here we are.
But I don't think we need him because he got released by the Jacksonville Jaguars. So his overall grade was a 43.3, Trey Flowers. His pass rush was a 53.0. His run defense was a 60.0, but in coverage he was a 46.5. He only allowed 3 receptions. He only played 16 snaps, 12 in coverage, 3 against the pass, and 1 against the run.
So I'm pulling up Antonio Hamilton Sr. here.
Let me look up Levi Wallace.
He's 32. His overall grade was a 29.6. Ugh. Yeah.
We could get a Levi Wallace. He played for the Broncos.
Hear me out here. Hear me out here. Hamilton's grade in 2023 was a 64.7. His coverage grade was a 69.1. I am not quite sure why he would have taken such a big fall off in 24, but he did. Atlanta.
Another guy I'm intrigued about, he's a 29-year-old. It's Levi Wallace, the quarterback out of the Denver Broncos. He played at least 308 snaps. He had a 66.9 overall grade. He had a 58.5 in pass rush. He had a 79.3 in the run defense and 64.3 in the coverage.
I'm so sorry, Dow. I'll be right back, and then let's take a look at Stroman.
So
Greg Stroman.
So about Levi Wallace, if you guys are looking at him, this guy, he was undrafted by the Buffalo Bills. Then he was sent over to the Pittsburgh Steelers to a 2-year, $8 million deal, and then just last year he was with the Broncos. However, he was waived by the Broncos, so he didn't play alongside a Patrick Sertan, I believe. So that's unfortunate. So
I'm sorry, Dow. I'll be right back, but then I want you to pull up Greg Stroman while I'm out. I'll be back in a minute.
Okay. Greg Stroman Jr. When we look at Greg Stroman Jr., let's take a look at his PFF. So this guy, he is 29 years old. He had a 63.1 overall rate. He played 130 snaps. Interesting. He had a 63.1 overall. He is good against the pass rush. He was okay against he was above average against the run, but in coverage he was below average. He had a 68.7 against the pass rush, 62.8 in the run defense, and a 59.4 in the coverage. So that is Stroman. But let's take a look at Jonathan's quote. You said, "What about Troy Hill? He's 33, but he played for Oregon Ducks. Same as Gonzo. Might be a guy that could teach Gonzo some things." Let's take a look at Troy Hill. If I'm not mistaken, let's take a look at Troy Hill. So he played with the Bengals. He played with the Patriots. He played with the Rams, majority of it. He played with the Browns. He got injured against the Patriots, if I'm not mistaken. Then he played with the Rams again. Then played with the Panthers. And then is now with the Buccaneers. But I think he's not. He had a good season in the COVID season against the Rams. With the Rams. Yeah, Troy Hill. Let's take a look at his PFF. What is this guy good at? Troy Hill. He's a 63.2 overall. Interesting. He only played 236 snaps. He's good against the coverage, weak against the run, and then on a pass rush, he's a 50. So interesting. So Stroman, Andy, he is a 63.1 overall. He's good against the pass rush. Okay. He's okay against the run, but in coverage, he was below average. So
okay. All right.
And he only had one pressure. He only allowed 8 receptions. He only played 130 snaps. 69 in the coverage, 55 in the run, but in the pass rush, he only had 6. And it seems like he's doing good in the pass rush.
FYI, Dow, Caleb Farley's only 26.
Yeah, but this guy's injured.
Oh, yeah, he's injured all the time. You're right.
Yeah, and he did play for the Panthers and didn't do much. Yeah, he was drafted by Mike Vrabel, but I think that was John Robinson drafting that guy and not Ryan Cowden, so that's different. But if we take a look at what he did for the Panthers, he had a 56.1 overall. He only played 169 snaps, This guy was a mediocre guy. He only had a 56.1 overall, 52 in the pass rush, 55 in the run defense, and then 56 in coverage. So yeah. But all these other guys, there's nothing much that intrigues me. The only thing, like, I would give Stephon Gilmore a 1-year deal, or maybe some of these guys a 1-year deal. However, I am not giving any of these old cogs a deal because they're all liabilities. Some of them are liabilities. So, but let's head over to the next topic, and that is which Patriots should be cut. Which Patriots players should be cut?
That sounds like a good idea.
What since it's post June 1st and the cap space has changed, what do you think? Who do you think should be a cut candidate for the Patriots, and why?
Okay. I've got 2 or 3 guys who come to mind. The number one guy, and I bet you agree with me, is DeMontre Jacobs. I had really high hopes for him being brought in from Denver last season. Did we try him at left tackle? We must have.
Yeah, for a bit when Vidarian went down.
This is an understatement, did not perform well.
He did not.
So let me just pull up his PFF again. This is DeMontre Jacobs' 2024 PFF. 38.4 overall, 41.9 run blocking grade, 43.1 pass blocking grade, 11 penalties, allowed 9 sacks.
Disgusting.
Offensive snaps played 867. He was in the bottom 10. The bottom 10, the bottom 6.
I don't know why we
in
even
terms of
re-signed him
sacks
to a 1-year.
allowed.
I don't know why we re-signed him to a 1-year deal. He should have been cut immediately.
This is a guy. Unless McDaniels and Marone are utterly convinced they can fix him. He's 26. He's not old.
Oh, this is a funny quote from Jonathan. He compared him to Wynn and Brown, their last years.
No. Yeah, that makes me want to keep him, John.
God.
Brother.
Why even keep DeMontre Jacobs? He's like, if we cut him,
he is a waste of space on this roster. As far as although, okay, let's put it this way: the way the 4 of us said about every guy on Sunday. See how he looks in training camp. If he is a piece of shit in training camp, out the door with you. Wham, bam, thank you. Not going to say wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. That doesn't apply here. But out the door you go. I mean, if you crap the sheets in training camp, I don't want you. And Coach Vrabel, neither should you.
Yeah, DeMontre Jacobs, he could leave right now because he basically allowed 1 bad sack, if I'm not mistaken, during the final training camp, and it was a bad one. That's why he's one of the candidates to be cut immediately. I don't know why the heck he's on the roster. For depth, I don't know, but other than that, this guy has done nothing for us. He was a huge liability for us. And then another candidate we can cut is Vidarian Lowe, and John could give us a reason why him, and then there's another guy I love, but it's time to move on from him, and that's Kendrick Bourne. And here's why. Kendrick Bourne and Lowe, because they save us cap space, and both have not done much lately.
Yeah, I completely agree with John here. Kendrick Bourne, a few weeks ago, it was Kayshon Boutte, who was the wide receiver cut candidate. Now it's Kendrick Bourne. Even though he is a Josh McDaniels guy, He's always younger than I think he is. I think he's only 29, but he is only 29. This will be his 30-year-old season. But if I look up his stats,
He only had 1 touchdown last season.
yeah, he did. I was barely aware he had one.
1 against the Rams.
AB was
But
wide receiver 116 on 2024. There's like barely enough. There's barely enough stats for him on 2024. He had 28 receptions on 37 targets for 305 and a touchdown.
yeah, he didn't do much. Especially when after that injury that he suffered against the Dolphins.
Yeah, he is.
It really hurt him big
That
time.
injury is a big red flag. On the other hand, 2021 with McDaniels, he was ranked 28th out of 91 wideouts in terms of overall grade, 75.6. His receiving grade was 29th out of 91 wideouts with a 75.2.
Interesting.
And this was his season under Josh McDaniels. So there's your case for keeping him. But the injuries, the decline in usage, the fact that we've got potentially Boutte, Chisholm, and Kyle Williams all making this roster on top of Stephon Diggs. I see him being a cut candidate 100%.
Yeah, with Kendrick Bourne, I thought he would revive his career under Bill O'Brien. Like he was bound to break his record. He had like 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. Unfortunately, he was the wide receiver 1 at the time because Jacoby Myers was out the building because of Belichick's incompetence of re-signing players.
And that's right. We kicked out Myers after 22. Oh, don't. No.
Yeah, I thought he would do well under Bill O'Brien, but that injury.
I was when I heard Belichick let him go, I was like, okay. I thought that was when I officially decided it was time for Belichick to go. Ultimately, we kept him another season. We know how it worked out.
Yeah, but I agree with Jonathan right here. He personally thinks Chisholm will perform better than KB even if we kept him this season. I agree. Chisholm
is your slot guy though. He is more, like we were talking about the other day. He's the guy you kick out Pop Douglas in favor of.
Yeah, unless KB is I don't think KB is your slot guy. He's more of like a
He's
wide
not.
guy.
I don't think he's safe either. My original my 6 wide receiver list was Chisholm, Williams, Boutte, Diggs, Collins, and Douglas. I think that was 6.
Yeah, that's 6.
That's one of my 6 too. Notice that did not include Kendrick Bourne.
And not even the 2024 wide receivers who are
correct.
Who are basically like
children. Although, and again, we're forgetting about that. I mean, we don't want to say we have depth at the wide receiver position. Honestly, we don't know that. But if you keep one, say you keep one of Polk or Baker, which there's a chance could happen. Again, KB, out the door you go.
Yeah, KB. As much as I love
when
KB,
when you do the math, Dow, it just doesn't add up to him staying. It just doesn't.
John brings up another good point. He said, I also think it's pretty insane that people want to get rid of Boutte, but I think Boutte is going to be even better this year.
Wait, there are still people who are calling to get rid of him?
I don't get it.
What?
The thing with Boutte, the thing with Kayshon Boutte is that he's not a wide receiver. He's more of a wide receiver 3. I bet a wide receiver 2 at best. but the lackluster of depth in the wide receiver room is so barren. He was forced to be a wide receiver one, and yet he did have better stats
He
under
did.
Jerron Mayo, surprisingly. But that was because
He wound up with let me
give
check.
me a break. I don't want to hear his name again. He said blank blank didn't play booty, and then he was gone, and he got to play some under Mayo and AVP, and
Bad
was okay,
coaching. Yeah.
but still had bad coaching. Butte should excel under McDaniels, and I agree. Blank blank. I'm not going to even mention his name again.
He
He
was here 20
doghoused.
years. He was here with 20 years, but his name is blank. He was here 20 years, but his name is blank blank.
Yeah, I want to call him blank blank from now on. Blank blank.
Bippity
Doghouse.
bip, bippity bloppichek.
Or my friend Steven would call him blunder check.
Oh jeez. Oh, I've never heard that one. That's a good one.
But
That's a
yeah, I would.
really good one.
But Keishon
His
Boutte, we
receiving grade
all
was only a 62.5, which was 86th out of 98 ranked wideouts in 2023. That's not that 2024 rather. That's not that great.
interesting for Keishon Boutte.
Yeah.
Interesting.
He only had 589 in terms of receiving yards. I thought he eclipsed 600. Apparently he didn't, but there we are. Wait, no. I'm looking at fantasy. Don't mind me.
Sorry, Thomas.
Was
If you're wondering whose name I don't want to mention, it's the GOAT head, the GOAT head coach himself. It's him. It's him. I don't want to mention his name. He was the final years during his tenure, they were a nightmare for all Patriots fans.
Yeah, 62.5 was Keishon Boutte. He only had 589 receiving yards. I don't know why I thought it was more, but apparently it wasn't. Here we are.
He did perform a lot better than his rookie year. In spite of all this worrying about his inconsistencies during training camp, his legal issues with gambling, that was the biggest concern, and his injuries.
Yeah, and like Austin mentioned, and you know that sideline ankle break he suffered in college. Without that, he's a first-round pick. I remember Boutte being talked about as a first-round pick in 2023.
And the thing with Keishon Boutte is he had a horrible combine.
Oh, his combine sucked? Now
His
that I don't really.
Let me look up his combine if I can, because I know his combine. He ran, if I can find it. He ran a 4.5 40-yard.
4.5 40 for a wide receiver. That's
He had a 4.25 in a 20-yard shuttle, but a 4.5 for the 40-yard dash.
Yeah, that's yeah, that's iffy.
And Chisholm is a 4.7, if I'm not mistaken.
4.7 what?
For a 40-yard dash for Epton Chisholm.
4.7? 4.7? He was that slow?
Mm-hmm. That's why he was undrafted.
Oh, the 40. Yeah. Well, we know one name that shan't be mentioned alongside another name that shan't be mentioned had a super quick 40, and we know what happened with him.
Oh gosh, and then he went to the Chiefs.
And
couldn't
did
even
nothing
catch
there.
the dang ball for us. Dude, former second overall pick. No, former second round pick.
Second round.
Yep, him. I'm not going to even mention his name.
Nope.
I don't know why him over the guy David Wallace, who had an impressive.
Over who?
Over David Wallace.
No,
I was a little disappointed about that,
but I'm blanking on who David Wallace is.
But Thomas brings up a really good point since we're bringing up that wide receiver's name. It's breaking news that Terry McLaurin has been frustrated about what the Commanders are doing regardless of progress on the new contract. The question is, do you think we should trade for Terry McLaurin and trade away KB and Jalen Polk?
Wait, hold on. Bring back David Wallace for me for a sec. He was a UDFA in 2024.
Yes,
Why were you mentioning Ty Thornton alongside him?
because there were this.
Now I'm completely confused.
No, I'm completely confused. No, I'm completely confused because the wide receiver roster, no, the wide receiver room in 2024, it consisted of Booty, Bourne, the two wide receiver. Because of
No,
wait,
I'll DM you as to what my reference was. That's all.
no, I thought David Wallace should have made it because what of his punt returns and his kick returns.
You were just. Oh my God. It's partly because I'm so tired. I'm sorry. No, because I was mentioning Tyquan Thornton from the 2022 draft
Yeah, but I
for
was
his
referring.
40-yard dash,
Yeah,
and
and
then you
then
mentioned, Wallace, who went UDFA in
no,
2024.
I'm saying that Tyquan Thorne should have not made the 53-man roster in
Ah,
2024.
Wallace should have made it over him.
Yeah,
Correct.
him
Correct.
over Thorne.
There you go. There you go.
That's what I was trying to.
Okay.
I
All right.
understand that he was drafted in 2022, but he
No,
did nothing for.
all right. All good. Thank you, buddy.
But what are your thoughts on Scary Terry for
Scary
trade?
Terry, I think that is interesting that he is dissatisfied with Washington right now. I wonder why. I mean, there's no real reason he should be. He's got Jaden Daniels as his quarterback. He's got Dan Quinn as his head coach. He's got Cliff Kingsbury as the GM, I believe.
No, Adam Peters is the GM. Dan
Oh, you're
Quinn's.
right. You're right. Kingsbury is the OC. Kingsbury's
Mm-hmm.
the OC.
Well,
Um,
my thought process is since they brought in Debo to the
yeah,
team.
you're right. They brought in Debo Samuel. You're right, and that would make Scary Terry not too happy. Um, I am. Yeah, I could be down with potentially bringing in Terry McLaurin here.
But what should we exchange for Terry
He's
McLaurin?
29, same age as Kendrick Bourne, almost
Mm-hmm.
exactly, actually. Um, you're
Yeah.
right. The question is, what would we trade for him?
He said
Oh,
Scary Terry is
long-term
frustrated
deal.
that we're taking so long.
Long-term deal. So it's like Trey Hendrickson and the Bengals.
Mm-hmm. The whole Bengals situation.
Mhm.
But he
This
came up
was
with an idea with I
Scary
would
Terry was a top 15 wide receiver in terms of wideouts in 2024. He was 12th out of 98 with 1,096 receiving yards.
mm,
Second out of 98 receivers in terms of touchdowns with 13.
mm-hmm.
Part of that is Daniels is his quarterback, but we knew before he was in Washington that Scary Terry was, he had a nickname for that reason. He is a good wide receiver. If I just take a look at 2023, he
I
had
just think that Scary Terry was dissatisfied with the quarterback situation and he want to learn term with Jaden Daniels. It's just that regardless of the shitty quarterback room that he had through all these years with Alex Smith, I'm not gonna say his name because he already passed away. Taylor Heineke, he had former first round pick. I forgot his name too. Oh, Dwayne Haskins.
Dwayne Haskins died.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez, I am not.
And he had him as his wide receiver. God. Yeah, I'm not gonna explain what happened, but Terry McLaurin had such a shitty quarterback room that he
Yeah, he
wants
did.
something consistent. And now with Jaden Daniels, he thought that he would strive with him but because of Debo Samuel and the situation that's been going on, yeah, that's good. There's a bit of competition in there, and Scary Terry wants to be with the team that would give him the ball most of the time. But yeah, I think we should
We
trade for.
could that'd be interesting if we see the thing is would they want Kendrick Bourne for Kendrick Bourne. Like I looked it up. Bourne and McLaurin are not. They're barely a month apart. They're almost the same age.
The thing with Kendrick Bourne, he could reunite with Deebo Samuel because they were
Yeah,
together in San
they were together in
Francisco.
San Francisco. Exactly.
And the wide receiver one during that time with Deebo and Bourne was Emmanuel Sanders.
What? The wide receiver one?
He was the guy who was part of the best offense with the Broncos.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I don't know why. I was sure Sanders was a defender, but I was.
But yeah, I would have traded away KB with just
Yeah,
because.
that to get Scary Terry, 100%.
But we would also have to give away
100%.
us. We would have to give away a draft pick as well, along with the KB if that's gonna work. Because Terry McLaurin, he's more of he's worth of a first round pick, but I would trade it for
absolutely.
But I would trade away KB and potentially a second or a third round pick.
Yeah. Or oh, really? I would say a second wide receiver. You would say a second or a third round pick. Interesting.
But by the way, guys, if you guys continue to post in your questions, or you can call into the chat, we could do so. You could do so. I could send the link as always if you want to join in. But if you have any more questions, you can do so here. But John is also saying this is what he proposed: KB and a second and a fifth for Scary Terry. And this is my concern for a bit.
That's a little much.
That's a little too much for me, and here's why.
Even for Terry McLaurin, go ahead.
Yeah, I would not trade away for him because we need draft picks.
We do.
We need to save some draft because obviously we don't want to get entirely young. But I want we want some developmental time, and we need some veteran leaders. But
we need what?
Veterans and some young veterans and young talent. That's why we need some draft capital. But at the same time, if we were to trade for Terry McLaurin, we would also have to give him an extension as well.
Yeah.
Considering that we have the most cap space in the league right now. With $60.7 million in cap space.
Still that much?
I would give him that much, but I wouldn't invest all of that.
Not two draft picks. No, that's
a bit too much.
That's a bit much. That's a fifth rounder could be good draft capital potentially.
Yeah. I would just trade away a second and Kendrick Bourne at best. If I was
if not, like I said, two wide receivers, KB and a younger one.
Yeah. Maybe trade away two wide receivers, KB, and then someone proposed like a Jalen Polk or Javon Baker to the Commanders.
Agreed.
Because
that way, I mean, I would do it.
Because I don't want any childish behavior from Javon Baker and Jalen.
Either Polk or Baker. I don't want to see that best hands in the league crap again. I know it sounds stupid, and it's Andy. It's so last year. No, I don't want to see it again. And
I don't want to see that again, or the having people in wheelchairs stand up.
Correct. I understand, with Diggs, there is the veteran presence there, but no, it's like, no, if we see that crap again.
So there would be potential. They're already boss to begin with. I would also trade away Jaheim Bell. I could also trade away Jaheim Bell as well. Considering Zach Ertz is getting old. Like Zach Ertz, let me look up how old he is. It's
I was
like
just gonna
34
look at.
years old.
I was gonna say Ertz is in his mid-30s.
Oh, this is another good deal. A good proposal from Jonathan. KB, Polk, and a fifth for Scary Terry.
I could handle that. I'd be down with that.
Yeah. I just felt like of how crowded our wide receiver room is. We could
Two wide receiver parting with two wide receivers, you net -1.
the thing actually
It's not bad.
yeah, there's actually one problem with it. Because you need to save some money to extend Christian Gonzalez at some point.
And potentially Drake May and Will Campbell.
So
And list player here.
yo, what's up? What's up, Buck? How's Bob doing? So this guy, he's a Chiefs. This guy's a Chiefs comment. If you want to join in, if I'm gonna say this one more time, if you have any questions about about what the heck is going on and what the Patriots should be doing post June 1st, you can put in your questions and comments below. Or if you want to join the show, you can do so in the comment that I will post once again. But if there's anything else we could trade away, we can trade away Vidarian Lowe. It doesn't matter, but I would rather cut him.
Yeah.
I would cut him in a heartbeat.
I would too.
Okay. Don't we have more camps? Let's take a look at 2026 and see how much they have. They would actually. What the heck? They would be 13th in cap. No, 23rd in cap space. Wait. Where's all this? Where? Oh my gosh. And then 2027. Let me do the math. There would be 99. There would be 90. They would be 27th with 99 million in cap space. I don't know. Yeah, that's my concern with Terry. That's my concern with Terry McLaurin. I just don't know. But what else? What else is there? Trade candidates. No, actually, since this is a good time to discuss this. What before next week? Next week is a mandatory minicamp. What are your expectations? Excuse me, for all the players in general before we start mandatory minicamp next week.
Before we start mandatory minicamp, oh boy, it's kind of a loaded one, but I want to see Drake May continuing to be on the up. I want to see the defense ball out. I want to see, Gonzo doing his thing. Carlton Davis doing his thing, Milton Williams, the whole lot of them. I would like to from the tight ends and the running backs, I want to, I want to see a case to be made to me. I know people think he's a lock, but I want to see a case that can be made to me for keeping Ramondre Stevenson as the RB1. Because this, I am not down with that. I want to see Trevion Henderson. I forget what I said in our live. I think I said even in our live stream the other night, I wanted Henderson to be our RB1 because Mondre needs to still prove that to me that he can get some of that mojo back that he had his rookie season.
Agreed.
And I want to see how Diggs keeps doing. Does he still, does he make those long catches from May that he had the other day? More from Kyle Williams. Efton Chisholm, keep balling out, my guy. I want you to make the roster. And I want to see, a bona fide battle for tight end 3 between Dupre, Bell, and Westover. Because we know the 1 and the 2 are going to be Hunter Henry and Austin Hooper. We know that. I want to see a bona fide battle on the field for TE3.
What I want to see is the biggest question. I don't think we mentioned this. I want to see, and this was an issue last year. I want to see a consistent O-line. That's what I really wanted to see. As long as we have a consistent O-line, Drake May should be fine.
None of that flipping guards and tackles back and forth crap.
And not switching
we've had for the last how many years? I don't even know. 3, 4?
For way too long right now.
Way too long.
Because of injuries, because of inconsistencies in performances, and because of coaching. Mainly
all of the above.
Coaching. I just hope Will Campbell performs to the level we all expect him to.
I do too.
Let's just hope Morgan Moses stays healthy. Let's hope Michael Onwenu, back at the right guard position, performs at a high level. Hopefully there's some good competition, and potentially if we even sign a left guard through free agency. A competition at center with Bradbury and Wilson.
I would like to see that.
I would also like to see, and I think John makes a really good point. I want to see Craig Woodson and Keon White continuing to be really good is what I hope. I really want Woodson to be our starting free safety. And I agree. Me and Thomas, besides reacting to some articles, we did some like tape breakdown of what Craig Woodson can be. And I think that if Craig Woodson can showcase what he did in OTAs and then put the pads on, this guy could be really impressive. So, yeah. But that's gonna be it for today's live stream. I kind of dragged it for a bit too long. It should have been a short one, but I think I let it drag too long. But that's okay. But
fair enough. All good.
Thank you, Andy. As always, I didn't plan this, but I just did it just for the sake of it.
It's all good, Dow. I had a long hot day at work, but no, it's all good.
Yeah, it's a hot day. It was.
I'm always happy to talk ball. It's just I know you can probably see it in my eyes here. It's just I'm not 100% here now, but hey, we got some things talked through, and it was a good stream. I liked it. Thanks for having me on, Dow. It was a good time again.
Yeah. And you'll see us two again, along with Dustin and Austin, for the upcoming defensive live streams. You do not want to miss it. And as always, please like this live stream if you haven't already. Please make sure to subscribe to support this channel. It's completely free. And turn on these notifications because you'll never know when we will be live again. And as always,
please
go Pats. Peace.